Okay. Hello, hello, hello. We are at Vegas. Hopefully you can hear me better. Okay, so I have a pretty fast setup here. I do not like the bumps. You can see the bumps, how they affect the car. And I've tried, high shock setups, low shock setups, mid shock setups, high, low, all kinds of different things. This setup I got the ride heights raised, so the bumps don't affect. So hopefully, testing if it's an improvement, does it hurt speed too much? Blah 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 blah. The setup's fast. The problem that I cannot stand, and you can't really see it from here, is that at the beginning of a run on fresh tires, you go down, and with the fresh tires, you'll go through the turn, and you'll be like, high 170s through the turn. And the bumps will affect you very little. The screen might move around, and then here I try to be a little bit more aggressive, and I caught a bump, and it just kicked me sideways. And then you go from like running 178 to running 173. So it's like 5 miles an hour you lose after the first few laps. And it's like no matter what setup I run, I get the same high gear, low gear. It's a pain in the ass, and it's not realistic because I've been at in different races. I've been in Heat 3. Like Michigan, there's bumps down low in turn 1 and 2 by the line. And that's the fast way around in Michigan in Heat 3. And you just adjust the shocks. I mean, you hit it, and then all of a sudden, now you're not slowing down in 1 and 2 anymore on the bottom. And that helps tremendously. Here, it's like no matter what the fuck you do, you're gonna get screwed. And the worse your tire wear is, the longer you run, the worse the bumps affect you. So there's a couple things you can do. Turn 4, I don't really have anything. I just got it to where I'm not going to kick sideways, and I'm not going to hit the wall, and so on and so forth. I can drive through it, but I'm going to lose speed. In turn 1, your line can help. See this line I'm running here? It's like the high part of the groove. That tends to be, for me, the most consistent. And after the first few laps and down to the last few laps, that's pretty much the best line with my setups to run. If you're tight on the right front, I don't advise to, hit the apron, because the apron will aggravate the right front for whatever reason, and then you'll wear more. I'm doing it on purpose because most of the races that I race, guys will hit the apron anyway. And this is also a draft track. It's a weird track. It's a mile and a half that acts like half of it is Darlington and half of it is Talladega, but it's a mile and a half. It's weird, and it's not really truly representative of what the real Las Vegas is like. And well, how do I know, whatever. Well, you know what? I've been watching Las Vegas races since 1997, and it's kind of, after 25 years, you can kind of pick out what the things are there. And and I'm not talking next gen cars. These are not next gen cars. These are Gen 6s. And with the Gen 6s, it's basically it's handling with draft as a minor factor. And then, we get to V5, and it's like bumps, draft bumps. And that's what I don't like about it. But, bearing all this in mind, I'm not upset. I'm not as, as out to lunch as I am at some of the other tracks. Probably in my league, I probably have a top 3 car. Which is good, I had one of these pretty much won, and I get a glitch stupidly. It's my own fault. I just cut it too tight. Messed somebody else's race up, so I'm not happy about that. But you know, so I'm in the lead. But what's gonna happen is the second place guy, which is Truex here, I believe, he's gonna inch in on me. I'm gonna maintain the lead all the way down to the pit stop, and I'm gonna run it out. Running traffic is an advantage to me because you can anticipate and they can't. So you know, and then of course they can make moves you can't. Also, the AI. So, but it usually you pick up, you know, a little bit of gap, which is good. And so then you come in the pit. That's your cue. Come in the pit because it's a 39 lap green lap stage. So, oh no, I ran it out. So let's see how many laps I went. So I'm up to 26, 27, 28. 29, yeah, 29. So 28 to 29. Okay. So here I am, and I'm in second, so I got to catch him. Okay, so this is interesting a little bit. So that's him up there. I'm not that far behind, but I did lose a little bit of time. Because even though I had a really good entry on the pit road, they're always perfect. What would do you well in your league race, you know, you'll still could be out to lunch in an offline AI race. So there's things to be learned there. So, you know, I don't like to practice against guys that are slower than me. I like to practice against guys that are a little faster than me. This is actually a good balance at this track because the same settings at different tracks produce totally different results. Of course, because it's Heat 5. And my theory is that each track is built individually with very little relating from one track to the other except generalities. Loose, tight, bumps, no bumps, so on and so forth. So what works at one track can totally mess you up at the next track. Even tracks that are very similar to each other. Like, I forget if Las Vegas is 18 degrees. I think it has 18-degree banking, and like Michigan has 18-degree banking. So how you get through high-speed Michigan and how you get through Las Vegas should be like very similar. You know, just the transitions would be different. And most of the issues that you end up having, like at Las Vegas, are because of the bumps. So you can't really relate anything from Michigan to, you know, to here because the bumps don't even play a factor at all at Michigan. Yeah, so, you know, yeah, so what do you do? Well, trial and error, that's the scientific method. You know, you try one thing and you run a fuel run, see how it is. Try another thing, you know, put it back and try another thing, run a fuel run, and see if it helps or hurts, and see where it helps or hurts. Because some changes will help you at the beginning of the run, some changes will help you in the middle, some changes will help you at the end. Most often, you'll see differences at the beginning and the end of a run. And the end of a run starts halfway through the run. So if you got a really fast setup, and like, you know, you got like leaderboard speed, and you know, this is like 29 lap, you know, fuel run, 30 lap fuel run, and you get to lap 15 and lap 16, you're spun out. Yeah, that's not a race setup, just so you know. You need to adjust that. But what's difficult with Heat 5 is taking that setup, a 15 lap setup, and turning it into a 30 lap setup, or 29 or 28 or whatever, is not that easy. You know, it takes running a lot of damn laps, too many, you know, to be honest, because the game doesn't work like real life in a lot of ways. Some ways it does, some ways it doesn't. Some things work identically at certain tracks, and then at other tracks those things don't work the way they should work. It's a really frustrating, you know, kind of thing, and I'm just trying to crack the code, which I've gotten better at it, you know, but still not quite there yet. You know, and I'm very picky with the way I like the car to drive. because I don't just want it to be fast. I need to be able to maneuver it. If I'm leading a race like I am here, right? I got to stay in front of the guy. I managed to catch him. I passed him. Now I just got to hold on to the end of the stage of the race or whatever. And I come upon, you know, some idiot like here. You know, I'm in this gaggle, and I can't. I got to get off the gas where I wouldn't normally, or I got to yank the wheel where I normally wouldn't, and I wreck because my setup can't handle it. That's not a good race setup. That's an iffy setup at best. It might be the best one that you have, but your goal should be getting something that, you know, if you're going down the lap before you pit, it's coming to the end of the race, 2 laps before, and you got to race, you got to have a setup that you can race. You know, that's the goal. And if you don't, you know, and you dive under somebody and you wreck the 2 of you, yeah, well, that's not going to make you any friends. And that's not really the way to race. Certain situations that, you know, can be accepted, you know, like to win a race, you know, once in a while, and yeah, you just get loose, and it happens to all of us, you know. There was an incident in Pocono where it was in Heat 4 right after they adjusted it, they updated it for the winter league, I think it was pro league, whatever, summer thing, and we go to Pocono the next week, and we didn't realize it. We just thought it was the track. You know, online lobbies change a little bit, but they took grip out of it, and I'm waited on this guy because I know if I don't pass him on the last lap or coming to the last lap, coming to the white, he's just gonna pass me right back the next lap. You know, and so I waited. You know, we were on old tires. You know, we only had like 2 laps of gas, 1 lap to go. And I go down into turn 3, and I go under him, and the fucking thing got loose. Took his bolt out. And it wasn't much, you know. And he couldn't hold it because he had less grip than he thought he had. See, if you know you got less grip, and you're an experienced, you know, driver, you can account for it. You can understand what's going to happen. But it caught us both by surprise. Because the online lobby was like totally different from the offline lobby, and so we just couldn't account for it. So yeah, it sucks. And that's what they did, and then they took that to the next level, Heat 5. It's like the first 2-3 months, the first couple updates are fine, and then they did that winter thing, I think like 2 months in, and they did that update, and you know, and it's the software that they're using is just flawed. You change anything, and it can change a whole bunch of things. You change one thing that's superficial, and you change a whole bunch of core things, which is what ended up happening. And it just took even more grip out of Heat 5. Like, Heat 4 started with good grip, then they took grip out, but it was still okay, you just had to adjust to it. And then Heat 5 came out with less grip, and then they did that final update, and then there was even less. So if you look at the leaderboard times, most of the leaderboard times the first year that Heat 5 was out was from like the first 2 months, because, you know, everybody jumps on that. And then when they updated it to its final form, which we're still in now, is like there's so much less grip. So finding a setup that can run that fast, you know, is a huge challenge. It's not easy at all. And that's where we've been since. Wow. Fast time. See, my fast time here used to be like a 29.5 or something ridiculous. But I had issues with the game. I had to reinstall it a couple times. So those times were from right when the game came out. And haven't been able to get near those times since, because I don't do you know, fast laps and leaderboard. I couldn't care less. I want the fastest car at the end of a fuel run in a race. That's my whole focus. Okay. And that's all for tonight. Thank you for watching.